So we're back on our notes, and now we're actually going to use the Pythagorean theorem to find a missing side length on a right triangle. And we're going to use the following steps. Step 1 is to label all sides. That means we're going to label A, B, and C. Then we're going to plug in the values for A, B, and C to the formula. Step 3 is to add A squared plus B squared. And then we're going to take the square root to find C. So when we're looking at this example 1, it asks us to find the missing side using the Pythagorean theorem. So step 1 was to label all sides, A, B, and C. So our legs are the sides that are connected to the right triangle. I can label that A and B. Remember, you could switch A and B, it doesn't matter. So that the hypotenuse, the side that is across from the right angle, that is what we're going to label as C. So we've done step 1. We've labeled our triangle. Now we're going to plug in values for these letters. So what I want you guys to do is write out your original formula. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. We're going to be seeing that a lot today, so get used to that formula. So we're going to plug in our numbers. For A, we have 6. Keep the squared. So 6 squared plus B is 8. So 8 squared is going to equal C squared. So we plugged in our values for A, B, and C. We didn't have a number for C because we don't know it yet. That's step 2. Now we have to add A squared plus B squared. But first, let's actually figure out what that is. 6 squared means 6 times 6. That's 36. Plus 8 squared, that means 8 times 8, is 64. That's going to equal C squared. Well, 36 plus 64 equals 100. So 100 equals C squared. So we've done step 3. We've added A squared plus B squared. The final step is to take the square root to find C. Because right now we know C squared. We don't really care about what C squared is. We want just C to get just the length of that side. So we have to do the opposite. And the opposite of squaring is a square root. So we're going to square root 100, which means what times itself is 100, and that number is 10, which means 10 equals C, so that's the missing side. Now let's look at example 2. Find the missing side using Pythagorean theorem. First, we need to write our equation. A squared plus B squared equals C squared, and label the sides of the triangle. We start by labeling our legs that are attached to the right angle. So I'll make 10A and 5B. Then we can be done with step 1 and move on to step 2, where we plug in our values for A, B, and C. Well, A was 10. So I've got 10 squared plus B is 5 squared, or it's 5 and then we need to square it, equals C squared. There's step 2. Step 3 is to actually add A squared plus B squared. So first we got to square those numbers. 10 squared is 100, plus 5 squared is 25, equals C squared. 100 plus 25 is 125, equals C squared, Remember, our goal here is to find c, the hypotenuse, not c squared. So to undo that square, we take the square root. And you guys, this is an 8th grade standard, so you can use your calculator on this. If you type into your calculator second squared 125, that will give you approximately 11.2. Sorry, y'all can't really see that much. Approximately 11.2. This is taking us back to the first 6 weeks whenever we were practicing approximating irrational square roots. That's coming back for Pythagorean theorem. So if you have calculator questions on how to type that in or don't remember how to approximate, make sure that you ask.